The summer gaming season is about to kick off with Prey from Arkane Studios. It's shaping up to be a gripping first-person experience along the lines of Bioshock, where you explore an abandoned space station and experiment with alien powers. Prey is a reboot of a 2006 game of the same name, but that doesn't come close to the whole story. Prey is actually a reboot of a sequel to a reboot of a game that started production in 1995. In fact, it was pitched as a sequel to another classic 90s game, but we'll get to that later. Before you beam up to Talon 1 and take on the Typhon, let's take a trip to development hell and learn about the 3 phases of Prey. The Precursor. Prey was announced in 1995. Publisher 3D Realms was looking for a flagship game for their studio after the success of Rise of the Triad and Duke Nukem 3D. They wanted a technical showcase, similar to Unreal by Epic Games. They wanted to incorporate stunning new tech developed in-house with a brand new state-of-the-art engine to blow everything else out of the water. All they needed was an idea. The only thing 3D Realms knew at first was that they wanted a dark sci-fi theme. They hired Tom Hall, one of the designers of Doom, to lead the project. Hall wrote the story for Doom. He came up with a big Bible full of elaborate lore and character details, but almost none were used in the final game. Lead programmer John Carmack famously said that story in a video game was like story in a porno. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important. Ultimately, Carmack won out, and Hall left id Software, a studio he co-founded before Doom was completed. At 3D Realms, Hall worked on Triad and Duke before starting on Prey. Details are scarce about this first version, mostly because it was scrapped entirely when Tom Hall left the company after a year. The only thing we know about Hall's version is that the game revolved around alien abductions. The new lead, Paul Skydema, kept this angle but fleshed out the world. Our hero would be Talon Brave, a Native American everyman trapped inside a mysterious space station with several hostile alien races. When the first previews hit the gaming press, people were amazed by what they saw. We're talking fully destructible environments, physics-based structures collapsing in real time, movable portals that you can look, walk, and shoot through 10 years before Valve's Portal. Don't forget, this was the mid-90s. Mario 64 was barely a thing. Games had just started to push polygons, but Prey was showcasing technology that seemed like science fiction. The hype was very real. So we waited, and waited, and waited, and it turns out that 3D Realms wrote a check their asses just couldn't cash. The technology, especially the portal mechanic, just wasn't feasible for the hardware at the time. Development slowed to a crawl. Updates became scarce. Prey was never formally canceled, but by 1999 it was on indefinite hold. After years of hype, all we had to show for it was a bunch of screenshots, some grainy preview footage, and this song KMFDM did for the soundtrack. This was the only evidence that Prey ever existed. That is until Prey at last. Rumors started circulating that maybe Prey wasn't as dead as we thought. After a surprise announcement, 3D Realms finally released the game in 2006, 11 years after production had started. They contracted Human Head Studios, best known for the Norse RPG Rune, to redo the whole project. They used the previous designs as a base, but otherwise started from scratch. Talon Brave is now the less culturally insensitive Tommy Tuoti, an ex-soldier living on a Cherokee reservation in Oklahoma. The game opens with a really cool scene where you just sort of hang around a bar. You can play some video poker, watch TV, or flip through the jukebox filled with licensed songs. You don't just get to see what his normal life looks like, you get to play it. It's actually pretty cool playing as your character before everything goes wrong. After a quick bar fight, Tommy, his girlfriend, and his grandpa are captured by aliens to the tune of Don't Fear the Reaper. Remember the portals from the old version? They were so hard to implement that it literally shut down production for years, but technology had progressed by 2006. The Prey team was able to slap existing Portal tech into their engine and beat Valve to the punch by a year. The 2006 Prey was a decent game for its time, with an 83% Metacritic score for the PC version, but doesn't have much of a following anymore. In fact, you might have a hard time if you want to buy it and play it today, but we'll get to that later. Still, Prey sold over 1 million copies, and so a sequel was announced just a month after launch. The team at Human Head decided on a different protagonist, a bounty hunter in a Red Dead Redemption-style open-world sandbox. Things were moving slowly when the rights to the Prey IP were acquired by Bethesda in 2009. Bethesda is, of course, the studio behind Fallout and The Elder Scrolls, and they publish a lot of other stuff from smaller third parties. They kept Human Head on the project for a little while. By the end of 2011, Human had ceased all work on Prey 2. The rumor mill started turning. Was Prey canceled again? Praying for a sequel. Bethesda said the game's development had not progressed satisfactorily and didn't meet their quality standard. They didn't cancel Prey 2 outright, but they delayed it past 2012 and removed all mention of it from their website. So there's conflicting stories about what went down. According to anonymous sources, Human Head wasn't happy about their Bethesda contract. They deliberately stopped working on the game as a form of a strike to try and force a better deal. That didn't work out too well for them. Most of the team was laid off, and the relationship between Bethesda and Human Head came to an ugly end. Thanks to all the fighting over the rights, Prey completely vanished from the digital market. Yeah, including Steam. The only way to buy the 2006 Prey is a physical copy. People just sort of forgot about it. I'm sure that helped Bethesda decide to scrap the old game entirely and start something new. Again. They started offering the Prey trademarks to different studios, leading to leaks, denials, and drama, before finally giving the rights to Arkane Studios, developer of the Dishonored series. Arkane didn't sell them on a Prey sequel. Instead, Arkane pitched that the new Prey would be System Shock 3, in all but name. 1994 System Shock and its sequel were some of the most innovative games of the era. They were first-person sci-fi horror RPGs that paved the way for narrative games today, including the freaking Bioshock series. That's why Shock is in the name. You know the audio logs that you find in nearly every single-player game you play? Those came from System Shock. Weapons and power upgrade systems to tailor combat to the way you want to play? System Shock. Hacking minigames? System Shock. So with Bioshock on hiatus after Infinite and the departure of creator Ken Levine, the new Prey might be the next best thing. Dishonored was a really cool stealth game with an awesome steampunk setting. A Shock-style sci-fi action game seems like a perfect fit for the developer. Yes, it's a bummer that they're scrapping the 2006 franchise and starting from scratch, but let's be real. The only constant throughout the Prey saga is the theme of fighting aliens on a space station. It's a pretty broad concept. You can build almost any kind of game around it, from portal puzzles to open-world sandboxes. And we're excited to see Prey back. We can't wait to see what Arkane has done with the franchise. Hopefully, the third try is the charm.